Bangladesh has delivered a historic verdict in the first national election since the 2024 uprising that toppled Sheikh Hasina and ended more than 15 years of Awami League dominance. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or the BNP, has now stormed back to power with a landslide 212 seats in the 299-member parliament. It is a comeback 2 decades in the making. For the BNP, this is more than just an electoral victory. It is political redemption. After years in the opposition, allegations of crackdowns and a long stretch out of office, the party has now repositioned itself as the vehicle of stability, economic recovery and national reset. But this election, remember, is not just a single victory story. It is in many ways a story of 3 major victories. The first one is for the BNP, a sweeping return to power with 212 seats, a commanding majority that gives it a strong mandate to govern. With Tariq Rahman set to become the first male Prime Minister after 35 years, who returned to Bangladesh last year after 17 years in self-exile. The BNP's campaign strategy specifically aimed to capture the moderate and secular votes left vacant by the barred Awami League. By appealing to these voters, the BNP has now created a mandate that is explicitly seen as a rejection of Sharia law and theological extremism. The second victory comes from Jamaat Islami. Although it did not overtake the BNP in this election, Jamaat and its allies secured between at least 77 seats, which is its best ever performance in a parliamentary election so far. For a party long marginalized and shadowed by its historical association with 1971, this marks a dramatic political resurgence. Jamaat attempted to rebrand itself as pro-uprising, promising justice-based governance and a more inclusive approach. It even fielded its first Hindu candidate. Jamaat contested these polls as the principal force within an 11-party alliance that also included the National Citizen Party, or the NCP, which is a group led by youth activists who had played a key role in the 2024 uprising. While it raised questions about the counting process after the results were declared, the numbers themselves signal momentum. Jamaat has emerged as a formidable parliamentary force. With its base energized, this performance lays the groundwork for future expansion. The challenge now shifts to the BNP on how to govern effectively while checking Jamaat's ideological narrative and preventing further consolidation of its support base ahead of the next electoral cycle. On to the third major victory now. That belongs to the Election Commission of the country. This was the first national poll since the 2024 student-led uprising and the 18-month interim administration headed by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. The vote was widely seen as the first truly competitive and relatively free election in nearly 2 decades. With significantly fewer incidents of violence and a broad participation base, the poll body has now regained a degree of public credibility at a critical moment in the country's democratic transition. The women's vote might have emerged as a decisive factor. With over 62 million female voters in Bangladesh, the BNP's social welfare promises and mainstream platform resonated strongly. 6 out of the 7 elected women candidates are from the BNP and its allies. Despite attempts to soften its image, Jamaat failed to nominate a single woman for general seats, a gap that limited its appeal among female voters. Jamaat Islami's campaign had attracted controversy as well over regressive comments being made by Shafiqur Rahman on women's rights and employment. Nonetheless, Jamaat's 77 seats represent a historic showing for a party that had previously never won more than 12% of the vote. As these results became clearer, congratulatory messages began pouring in. India was among the first to respond, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi extending his congratulations to the BNP on its decisive win. With BNP's victory, India's long-standing strategic comfort with the Awami League is now over. For more than a decade, remember, New Delhi worked closely with the government of Sheikh Hasina on security cooperation, cross-border connectivity and counter-terror frameworks. That era has now closed. The BNP government led by Tariq Rahman will have to balance multiple pressures, domestic coalition dynamics, economic expectations, and the growing ideological assertiveness of Jamaat, which now enters the parliament with its strongest ever numbers.